everybody. It's Olivia Scott with Freedom at the Mat. And today we are so grateful you've chosen to join us again for another edition of Well Chat. So, we are going to talk with a woman who is a woman after my own heart. She is about movement. She's the co founder of GirlTrek's. She's going to talk about what GirlTrek's is really all about, what fuels them, and also get some inspiration for women to incorporate walking in their daily lives. So, Vanessa Renee, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, my love. So, I've been following the Girl Trek movement since I was in Newark, New Jersey. I lived there 2014 to 16. And so we're going to Wheat Creek Park and that being a thing then. And now that I am in New Orleans, I see the women here, and I just love that you created a movement that Black women can celebrate movement. I was at the event that you came to here in New Orleans about a month ago, and seeing women of all ages having this Black girl joy, in City Park, moving and hula hooping and walking, and there being different paces. The older ones, some of them in the back, some who had a hip replacement walking a little slower, right? And you had some, there was one with us who had that problem. And you had other women in the front who were like speed racing. And even some of the women who were speed racing, they were older. So it really was like a beautiful thing to see. So congratulations and thank you for what
Thank
you've
you.
done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Girl Trek is a blessing. It's a living testimony. It is a sacred space, and it is one of, just like you described, one of the only spaces that I have gone into that is truly intergenerational. It's truly moms walking with daughters, walking with grandmothers, it's hot girls, it's seniors, it's sizzling seniors. It's a space and a sacred community, and it's a sisterhood. It's really real women who are holding each other accountable to living our healthiest, most fulfilled life. It's real women who are contributing to their communities through service, and their service is to hold walks. And those walks become containers for like so many relationships to be formed, so many problems to be solved, so many communities to be brought to life because these women are there in those parks laughing and hugging and encouraging each other. So it's been a real blessing for me. Almost 15 years of my life, I've been in this movement, walking in this movement, organizing in this movement, and I feel really blessed. So thank you for being there at that park in New Jersey. Thank you for being there a couple of months ago in New Orleans. And thank you for inviting me into your sacred space.
Yes, so tell us, if you don't mind, can you tell us where it started? Like, why was it so important for you to create this movement?
So, Morgan, who is the Girl Trek co-founder, created Girl Trek at a school that she was working in Connecticut in the mid 2000s, like 2010, 11, because she was witnessing in her classroom young girls who were really needing some support around their own health choices. And she started taking girls hiking on the weekends. Her and I were friends. We started having conversations about how powerful that was, but also how powerful it would be if we could take health out of the schools in the way that they were controlling it and put it in the hands of the mothers. If we could empower the mothers to be the healthy role models, if they could be the girls who are sharing the information, if we could honor that we have a wealth of information in our families that have been passed down around health and that they just needed to be resurfaced, that information and reshared. So she and I partnered up, and we launched Girl Trek as a national health movement that was asking women to start walking literally on a daily basis from wherever they are outside of their front doors, to wear these blue shirts that I'm wearing, which are called superhero blue shirts because we're the superheroes of our communities. And we were just like, can we get a million women to say yes? Like, I believe in this thing. And women started raising their hands all over the country. They started organizing their churches, organizing their blocks, organizing their cousins, and they started experiencing a real metaphysical, like spiritual, like awakening, because there is something really powerful that happens when you start to move your body in this way on a daily and consistent basis and start to convene with nature, and when you start to walk and talk about your problems, like it just shifts so much in you. So many women have had a testimony that's so undeniable that really what Girl Trek is right now is like those testimonies reverberating out to other people who are just getting caught up in this thing that we are doing.
I love that. I love you guys so much, and it's interesting because I was talking about this with a friend just last week about going for a walk with her mother. She's having some just challenges with her mother. And I was saying, maybe you guys go on a walk. You get out of your house, you get out of her house, you get on neutral territory and move it out. There's something that happens with movement. And I know I love that. I love to walk, period. And I have a thing where I like to walk alone. But because I get so much mental health benefit from just walking and all the thoughts that are just downloaded, but when I walk with the trekkers, the girl trekkers, and they have so many different groups here in New Orleans. I mean, and I want to pause to talk about that just for a moment. I think for any woman who's listening to this or watching this, and you're like, what is Girl Trek? I never heard about it. First of all, you can go on girltrek.com. Is that it? Girltrek.com or .org?
Both girltrek.org or girltrek.com, but we are there. You can take the pledge there, which is to walk in solidarity with us. Once you take the pledge, we start to share information with you. We don't spam you once a week. I really write a personal email to the movement, uplift what's happening around the country, and give calls to action around what we are walking for each week. And then we create tools, resources, curriculums, podcasts, challenges, all sorts of things to help you to both live your best life and to organize your friends and family. So you can connect with a lot of those resources on girltrek.org. If you're on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the podcast platforms, we have a walking podcast called Self Care School that we just completed 10 weeks. Each week is a really beautiful walking experience. It's 5 daily episodes, 30 minutes, and we walk through powerful lessons, 50 life saving lessons. We've had over 5,000 women who graduated from self care school. You earn a badge every week that you complete. It's a foremother badge that's based off a foremother whose footsteps we walk in, and you can get the real physical badges in the Girl Trek store. So it's like Girl Scouts. So I highly recommend your community check out Self Care School. It's a beautiful experience.
I would, and you can join it anytime. It's not that you need
Anytime.
time.
We recorded it live in the screen, but the episodes are meant for it's really a curriculum. It's really a tool.
Okay.
It's really like, how do we resist right now? And what does resistance look like for Black women? And how do we call in what we need in terms of strategies, in terms of skills, and where do we get them from? And so we created this 10-week curriculum. It's based off of our 10-point joy and justice agenda. Every single week, we have a different demand. We want healthy families, healthy minds. We want land and economic freedom and all sorts of beautiful things. And then we teach about those particular things and how we can get them.
And so this episode is one that I think for anybody looking to create a new ritual or a new healthy habit for the new year, this is an incredible resource and community available to you to help get you going and help you moving with that healthy habit. I have another question for you about those of us who are in very cold climates, right? I lived in Chicago and New York for a very long time, and now I'm here, and I know you guys in the Northeast. Do you guys have any groups that do indoor facilities, like they walk in malls or anything like that? Or what happens in the winter to keep it going?
Yeah. It's a good question because we say we are the Harriets of our community. So we walk rain, sleet, or shine. Most women walk in Detroit and Chicago, like they hold it down out there. There's no really bad weather, just bad gear. Girl Trek believes that. And so we teach women how to layer up and walk outside safely year round. And yes, there are a lot of women who are like, okay, we have reached a point where walking outside in our community is too cold. They've taken over malls, they've taken over fitness centers, they've taken over tracks, they've taken over different types of office complexes. Women walk
Yep.
the stairs at their jobs. And so for me, it's like get it in however we can get it in. A lot of women buy walking pads and walk inside their homes. Of course, women use the treadmill. So walking 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day can add almost 7 years to your life. life. It's single-handedly one of the most powerful exercises that you can do. It reduces symptoms of and your proclivity for heart disease, for stroke, for diabetes. It is good for your mental health. It is really a wonder drug, and I think Girl Trek is a walking prescription for women.
Beautiful. So now, thank you for that because I'm hoping people will listen to that because I'm like, I'm gonna join that curriculum. I love learning. So that I'm gonna do the podcast and I'm gonna get my badges too. So Black women are socialized to be the perpetual caregiver. What is the Girl Trek philosophy on radical self-care and how do you help women navigate the guilt that comes with prioritizing going for a walk and making sure that we stay healthy?
Yeah. Girl Trek literally is inspired by Harriet Tubman, who walked nearly 90 miles on her first walk to freedom. And we have something called the Tubman Doctrine. It's 4 steps that guide everything in our movement. And the first is never ask permission to save your own life, to start walking right now, to leave behind anybody you need to leave behind, from your husband to the job to the city to the whatever, because Harriet did that on her first journey. She did not ask for permission and she just left her husband behind, left her 2 brothers behind who she had asked to go with her on that first journey, but got scared at the last minute and she left them all behind. So that can be scary for Black women because we really are taught, we're taught self-sacrifice, we're taught community over everything, we're taught honor your mother and your father, we're taught like all of these indoctrinations that tell us not to put ourselves first, but we really believe and never ask permission to save your own life. And then the second part of the doctrine is when you learn the way, go back and get a sister. And that's what Harriet did. And so we teach women to organize their friends and their families so that we can practice collective self care. And collective self care says that I will selfishly pour into myself because there will be a time when you are down, but I am up. And there will be a time when I am down, but you are up. But we can only meet each other's needs if we are filling each other's coffers in a way that allows us to be there for each other. And so go back and get a sister. The third part of the doctrine is to rally your allies because it requires more. It requires our husbands, it requires our partners, it requires our neighborhoods, it requires our congresspeople. Like there's a village and that's involved in getting well. And then the fourth part of the doctrine is to find joy, which Harriet Tubman did. And she lived a long and beautiful life as a free woman and a freedom fighter. And we want that for Black women, like prioritize unapologetically like your satisfaction at the deepest cellular level, like really go after the things that are just like wow, that lights me absolutely up, and from that place like there's will be a radical revolution in the world.
I appreciate you so much. I had no idea that Girl Trek was so rooted in such doctrines as Harriet. So that makes a lot of sense. And I'm so grateful that you guys did ground it in some of our foremothers. And it really does make a lot of sense. So you've already spoken to the physical act of walking and achieving mental and emotional freedom from stress. But I also want to talk about you working with formerly incarcerated women, right? So for that population, can you share how did your experiences with those women inform a deeper understanding of what you needed to do with Girl Trek?
I grew up with my mother incarcerated, so I've always been oriented to understand that there's a real freedom fight for in this country that's not theoretical. That every single day our aunties and our cousins and our sisters, Black women, are really behind bars right now. And it matters because walking is a tool even for those women in prison. It is a tool where they can walk the yard, where they can, still move their bodies and not be paralyzed by fear. So I think mostly about a lot we do a lot of work with women who are returning citizens and helping them to build community and to start walking groups, but, we are also doing some work led by a woman named Yolanda on our team to bring walking inside the walls because it is a way for those women to deal with the mental health things that they're going through, to really connect with God, to really experience a freedom that can't be given or taken away by this physical world, and help them to transcend what they're experiencing. And so I have hope and a vision that there will be a Girl Trek crew in every single prison and jail and halfway house and foster home all across this country until those things don't need to exist anymore. I pray that we can be a real tool and resource for those women.
Bless you for that. So now to the point, you're around this country, you're around the world, you have an incredible vision. How do you sustain a sense of collective power and accountability across a million plus women, ensuring the movement feels both personal and local while it's global?
Wow, now that is a question. It's a good question. We have always been a grassroots open source movement where any woman from anywhere can take Girl Trek, make it her own, adopt it to what she needs it to be, speak on the news about it, do all the things you want to do. We have always encouraged that because that's what movement building is. You can't hold tight and hope that something's going to grow big. You got to hold with loose hands. And so Girl Trek has, and because of that, Girl Trek is everywhere in almost all parts of the globe because Black women are everywhere. So, but the question is then how do we maintain this, like, I think collective accountability, which for me is a collective identity as freedom fighters and what we are supposed to do. And for Girl Trek, we do that through things like the Tubman Doctrine. We also have something called a Trek code, things that we buy into. And then we do it through modeling the mission of what we want women to replicate. And we give women the power to be the gatekeepers of their own communities, around who and what is into girl can come into Girl Trek. And then we do a lot of work around strategy to decide what are our collective calls to action. And so although you can be anywhere at any time, every Saturday, Girl Trek women put on their blue shirts and walk because it's called Sisterhood Saturday. And that's a collective action that we do no matter what we do that day, right? Every March 10th on Harriet Tubman Day across the world, Girl Trek members hold Harriet house parties because that's what we do on March 10th. Every fall, we're getting ready to do a prayer trek October 20th through the 31st. Every fall, we walk and pray together because it's like a season for us of walking in prayer. So we have rituals and traditions that and doctrine that hold the movement together while allowing individuals to both make it their own and also for us to just show up how we are and then we meet women where they are.
What tell us about the fall prayer. What's
Mhm.
that about?
So for at least the last 8 years, every fall in October, Girl Trek has hosted a prayer trek based on the fruit of the Spirit. And we have called our entire membership to walk from wherever they are at the exact same time and date because there's something, metaphysical, alchemical about like prayer and what happens when we do it together where two or three are gathered. And every single day for those 9 days, we meditate on one of the fruit of the Spirit and then we also meditate on the broader context of how that spirit, fruit of the spirit, can be applied to whatever's happening in the world right now as it relates to Black women. And we pray over those things as a collective, and we invite women from our community to be guest prayer warriors. And this year, we are pre recording all of the episodes. So it will be 10 days of prayer this year, and it'll be available on iTunes and on Spotify. And the idea is that you will have your morning assignment and you will get up and you will listen to the assignment for that day, that you will pray, and that you will be a part of this collective movement that's praying together.
Wow. And is it a certain day? A certain day in October?
October 20th through the 31st. The registration will open on girltrek.org. October the 8th, all registration will be open.
Our last question for you. Thank you so much for your time today. Can you tell us how we can support you? Because I know you're a nonprofit
Yeah.
and I know that some of these things take money. So is it buying the shirts? Is it buying the badges? Is it making a donation? Tell us how women can support you, whether they decide to walk or not. I think it's a worthwhile nonprofit for us to consider pouring into.
Wow, I so appreciate the platform and the question. And unapologetically, Ayana, who leads our development, would say at girltrek.org, there's a big donate button in the top right hand corner, and you can donate to the movement. We are a 501(c)(3). everything that comes in goes back out in terms of supporting the talented staff that are on the ground, leading trainings, leading organizing, doing marketing, doing outreach, all of the things that we're doing which is what people's money supports. And then, yes, so shopping the GirlTrek's store. So the shop button is right next to the donate button on the GirlTrek website. And
Okay.
shopping the store is a really excellent way to support the movement.
Excellent. All right. So girltrek.org or girltrek.com is where you should go. And I know for a fact that once you get involved, I love the decentralization of the organization. There are all these different Facebook groups locally that really make you feel like home. So I encourage everyone to get moving, to support Vanessa and Morgan as they are women on a mission to help women move and for our lives to truly become freer, lighter, and healthier and wealthier, because I believe that health is wealth through
Yeah.
movement. So, Vanessa, Renee, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sister.